Okay, so it was a good win. It was pretty ugly at times. I don't think we played up to our standard in the first half at all in any phase of the game. We didn't have the energy that we need to have to continue to develop as a football team. We had the defense. They drove the ball right down on us, and then we got the recovery by Jackson, which was him, a heads-up play, and then we go down and miss a field goal. Durante broke the run, thankfully, that gave us a 7-3 lead, but it was really kind of a not a good first half for us. One thing we did well in the first half is, well, number one, we had the lead, but number two, we eliminated the penalties, and then we came out in the second half and we had more penalties. So we have a lot of work to do. Now, all that being said, we're happy, all right, but we're not satisfied. And getting to 500 was one of our goals. We have things that are still on our agenda, and our guys are very motivated to do that. I think that I know they accepted the challenge. At halftime, we talked about playing with more energy, having more energy on the sideline, channeling our energy to the field, settling down and doing our thing. I think that we ended up doing that. I think on defense, we certainly did it. On offense, it took us still a little bit of time because of the penalties, but we got it done. Anytime we can run the football the way we did, we tend to have some success. Certainly our passing game is not where it needs to be, and it has been all year. We're working hard on that. We had hoped to have Cam for more of the game. His foot was bothering him, so we pulled him. They actually took him in and x-rayed it, and he's fine. Not having Keelan certainly was a factor. We had hoped to have him. Having Devontae was a big deal for us early, and then, he just tweaked his ankle, but he should be okay. Thankfully, he got some plays in before we get to next week, and I think he needed that for his confidence. But we came out in the second half with a lot better energy, and that's the way we have to play. Someone asked me if it was a hangover. I don't subscribe to those theories. There should never be an excuse. There is no such thing as a hangover. Every week's its own entity, and you got to play that way. So the key thing is we're sitting at 500. It's been a while since we've been 500 here. We put ourselves in a position to really play for something special. We've got a huge game a week from tomorrow against Liberty. They're a ranked football team. They're a very, very good football team. And we'll have our work cut out for us. Hopefully we get some guys back. Hopefully Cam feels better. Hopefully Devontae feels better. Hopefully Keelan's back. I think he will be. And anytime we can add weapons, then we've got a chance to do more on offense. So, like I said, we're happy with the win. It's exciting. But in terms of being satisfied, there's really no sense of satisfaction right now because we didn't play up to our standard.
Coach, what do you do differently on offense in the second half that finished your drives better?
Nothing except execute. There was no change in the calls. It's just the men executed better, and we wore them down, I think, a little bit up front. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way towards them. I mean that as a compliment to our guys, as we ran the ball well, and it's you get Robert Burns going, people don't want to tackle him. He's a punishing runner, and we just made some plays.
So, Coach, also describe, on the topic of rushing, just describe Victor Rosa. He had 2 touchdowns today. Just describe his impact, in the game, as well as his impact on the run game this season.
Well, he did more than just, run the football. The play he made on the long field goal attempt, really a nice play. The punt return where they called the block in the back, which was a horrible call. I can say that because we're not in a conference. Isn't that awesome? No, I'm kidding. I'm going to tell you, so the official even came over and said, that was a horrible call. I said, yeah, I agree with you, But regardless, we can't use that as an excuse. But Victor, he just continues to improve. Nobody treats him like he's a freshman. We never have. He doesn't act like he's a freshman. He's on this team. There's things that are expected of him, and he's been able to rise up to it.
Coach, the red zone struggles, what can you attribute that to? Just execution?
Well, it's execution, and it's, really good players that are not playing, I mean, this is a game of players, not formations and plays. And we've been able to get the ball down there, but we haven't been able to create a whole lot of space in the end zone. And, we're working hard on it. It's not something we just go, oh, we don't have our guys. We've got to be able to find ways to get guys open, to find ways to finish drives with the ball in the end zone rather than having no way out there, because those things come back to get you, man. This is a game where you have to score touchdowns. Field goals will get you beat.
Did halftime feel like kind of how it did last week, or was it a little different?
Halftime? Halftime felt a lot different. It was we had to find energy. You know, we knew we weren't playing up to our standard. We needed a spark man. You know, we needed someone that just ignited us. And you know, like he typically does, it was Jackson Mitchell. You know, and it was Dalmont. Dalmont. Got guys going. And it's always a great thing when it comes from within your team. You know, when they recognize that they're not playing up to their standard, and you don't have to tell them as a coach, because it's more impactful that way. And it's because it's peer-to-peer. And that peer-to-peer accountability is much stronger than a coach saying something. They need to be accountable to each other, and they are.
Conservative offensive game plan, just a
Ours?
yes.
Well, it always is, isn't it?
It is a reflection of who you have personnel-wise, though. I mean,
Well, we tossed it down the field a couple times, you know. I think that we got to be willing to just kind of let it go at quarterback sometimes and just pull the trigger. And I don't think the game plan was necessarily conservative. Sometimes it's what they play that forces you to throw it down underneath. But like I said, we're a team that this year has made our money running the football on offense. And so we got in a game against a team that really has been pretty good against the run, and we were able to run it. And, they'd been outstanding running the football, and they weren't really able to run it against us very well. And so when you control the line of scrimmage that way, you're gonna I think, have a chance to have success.
Coach, when I talked to Victor earlier this season, he said, I got to buy in like everyone else is buying in. How has that attitude really aided in his progression as a freshman?
Oh, it's huge, because like I said, nobody looks at anyone on our team as a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, fifth-year guy, COVID year. It's just you're a player on this football team. And when called upon to perform, you're expected to perform. That's got to be the standard. There are no excuses. Football doesn't care. Football doesn't care about your excuses. They don't care if you're a freshman. They don't care if you're a fifth-year senior. The game doesn't care. And so if you have players that have that mindset like Victor has, and I think we have a whole locker room full of those guys, you always have a chance.
when you say you were looking for energy and you got it from Jackson, did he speak to the team at halftime? Or?
Jackson is one of the more quiet guys on our football team, just day in and day out. So whenever he opens his mouth and says something, it carries a huge amount of weight because these men have great respect for him. He's not just a great football player, but he's just the way he leads, the example that he sets every single day is so impactful. So when he opens his mouth and he says, this is some BS, guys, this isn't who we are, this isn't our standard, we haven't come this far just to come this far, everyone says, shoot, that's Jackson Mitchell, and they take it to heart.
Coach, when you brought in Brandon Boyer-Randall as a transfer, what was the most valuable trait that you saw in him?
His versatility. He's big, he's fast, he's physical. He plays inside linebacker for us. He plays outside linebacker for us. He rushes the passer in our nickel as a defensive end. He plays on a ton of special teams. He's got stamina. He's fast, but it's his versatility for sure. He can just do a lot of things and he does them well.
You mentioned how UMass kind of came out throwing, and it's something you maybe had to adjust to on the fly. Was it more something you did different scheme-wise in the second half, or was it like you said, an offense just executing versus?
It was exactly that. It was executing. It was nothing different in terms of the calls. As the players make the calls go, you can make the perfect call, and if the players don't execute it, you're going to struggle. And if you can make the worst call in the world, which I do all the time, and if they make a play or they execute, then you have a chance to have success. And they just executed. And I felt like we condensed the pocket better. We weren't sure which quarterback was going to play for them. If 12 played, we thought it'd be a little bit more of a throwing game, but I didn't think it would be that type of throwing game because they're not a team that's throwing the ball a lot. And if 5 played, we thought we'd see more quarterback runs. And he didn't play a lot, but when he was in there, he tried to run it. So it was just, kind of settling down, adjusting our plan a little bit, adjusting our calls. But to me, it always goes back to the players executing what you call. And so the credit's always to them. All right, yeah, go ahead.
This season, it kind of seems like the game plan on defense has been at least make them beat you throwing the ball, but over the middle, not limit the deep passes. Is that?
No, we try to take away everything. No, now every defense has a strength and it has a weakness. And so when you call certain defenses, it's all about being strong where you're trying to be strong and understanding where you're going to be weak in that call. and then try to make them find the weakness of the defense. And I thought today, early at least, their quarterback did a good job of stepping up into the pocket and finding some things over the middle. But that's not our strategy. Our strategy is to play a multiple, type of fronts, multitude of defensive coverages, and try to make them find the open guy, eliminate the deep ball. They hit a couple on us today. That's been something we've been good at, but they caught us in man a couple times, and the guy heaved the fade up there, and they made plays. So now we're just trying to win the next down. Okay.